Good morning. Morning. Hi, I'm Tim. This is Selfless Awakening, where I like to ground all of this spiritual stuff. I'm on a quest to practice deeper these mindfulness, self-help, spiritual tools, whatever you want to call them. I'm a part of a growing community in the world of people who are practicing these tools, these techniques that you can practice to feel better, to have more of the external life experience you want, have more of the internal life experience you want. And I feel intuitively led to share about the things that I know have been working for me and working with others, and that's what this channel Selfless Awakening is about. It's about me becoming a conduit of transmission of things that are working for me. And I encourage all of you out there, if you're having insights, discoveries on your awakening journey, on your unlocking of your human experience, share them. Start a channel. It's really great. There's a joy in experiencing these tools and using them, and there's a joy in sharing them. And that's what this channel is about for me. And this is part of my 30 Days of Awakening series, where every morning I'm waking up, I'm meditating, I'm getting present, and I'm asking the stillness that I am, the awareness, the presence, what can I say to be of service to others today? And then a topic comes to me and I talk about it. You're going to see me looking over here some. Hello, those of you joining in. You're going to be looking over, I'll be looking over here some at the Instagram. I have a live Instagram going. People may chime in with some questions. I'll be checking in here and there, and I'll also be speaking to the camera here, okay? So, today, the topic for today that came to me this morning was looking at the topic of making decisions, and how do we make decisions from the deepest intelligence inside of ourselves? How do we make decisions from our higher selves? How do we make spiritual decisions? That's what this is really about, okay? And I have a simple thing that I do when I'm making decisions, a simple question I ask myself, or maybe better, I ask the universe when I'm making decisions, and it helps me a lot. It helps me understand it helps give me clarity on what the next right thing to do is. Okay, so here's the idea, here's the concept, here's the question. When you're coming up on a decision to make and you're unclear what choice to make, and your mind is giving you multiple options of places to look to make the decision, try this. Ask yourself this simple question: what would love have me do here? What would love have me do in this situation? What would love have me do at making a decision at work? What would love have me do in my relationship in this conflict or battle? What would love have me do in trying to pursue my career? Like, what would love have me do? That question, it's a very, very powerful question. And here's why, one of the reasons why it's so important to ask is this idea. As we zoom out on life, as we boil down our emotional experiences, and we kind of, we zoom out and we look at life and we say, okay, what are these primary emotional states that a human being can be in? And are there certain emotional states that we can be in that are bigger or deeper or more constant in the human experience? And are there emotional experiences that are surface, that are lighter, that are more flippant and more transient? And I believe absolutely that this is true, that there are some emotional states that just kind of, that can easily flit and come and go. Impatience is one, that can come and go. These are very surfacey things, but deep emotions, deep emotional states, that's where we can, that's where we want to look. We want to go way deep when we look to make decisions. And what that means is we want to look at love and fear. Love and fear. So much of what we perceive to be our uncomfortable or emotions that maybe aren't what we perceive to be serving us come from this question of, like, where's the fear? Fear's funny. Fear's like the Hydra, if you know the mythology of the Hydra. It's like you cut off one head and it grows back in a new way. That's how fear works. Fear is Fear is persistent and clever and always regrowing and reforming itself. And it's a deeper emotion that spins off a lot of other emotions like shame, guilt. It spins off insecurity. It spins off anger. How many other, we could go through pretty much every emotion that a human being perceives to be an emotional state of being they don't want to be in. If you can always route it back to some anchor in fear, which if we go even deeper into the spiritual understanding of ourselves, what that really is fear of the fear of death of some aspect of our ego, or fear of death of some part of our 3D person, fear of death of some part of our avatar experience, right? Fear is attached to this world. Love is not attached to this world. That's my experience, and here's why I say that. When I'm in a deep, blissful identification of myself, in that awareness of myself is non-physical, and I sit there, and the longer I sit there and I let the voice in the head say it's peace, and then I let it quiet, and I let it calm, and I let it go, from that state of being, from there, everything is love. Everything is lovable. Everything is peaceful. From that place, fear can exist. A lot of people talk about fear and love as being opposites. I don't believe that to be true at all. Love is the constant underpinning, underscoring of everything that's happening. And fear can pop up inside of the experience of love and go away. But love is always there. You can feel love and feel deeply connected to your love self and still experience fear. They're not opposites. Okay? Fear is something that can come up inside of the real you, which is constant non-physical, blissful awareness that's always there, even if fear is there, coming and going. Okay? So, when we're talking about making decisions, it can become very overwhelming when we start playing the mind game of making decisions, where, hey, how's it going? Let me just say hi to a couple people here. Hi, Zach. How's it going? Hello, Rabbi Uhuru official. Welcome. All right. So we're talking about fear and love and knowing how to make this centered spiritual decisions. Okay, that's where we're at today. So, so as you're coming to a decision, especially a decision that feels like it has some importance, like maybe quitting a job or taking a job or moving out of the place you're living or starting a relationship or ending a relationship. All of these things, these are big decisions, and when we make big decisions, fear can easily become a part of. Fear always has a voice in it. Well, if you move to that house, what if you can't afford it? What if you don't like your neighbors? What if what if it turns out that the apartment really sucks or the house is terrible? Like all of these, like you can hear the voice of fear coming in. And you want to be aware of the voice of fear when you're making decisions. You want to just be really present to it. However, you don't want to necessarily follow the advice of the fear as it comes up. It doesn't mean you don't want to not listen to it, because sometimes fear kicks up things that are important to look at. But the thing you want to do is also ask yourself, what would love have me do? What's the most loving thing to do here? Is this part of my evolution as a human being to make this decision out of the fear or out of the love? And you look at it and you ask yourself and you say, okay, what would love have me do here? Well, love wants me to grow. Love wants me to be happy. Does love want me to move right now? Why am I moving? Do I want to move because of love or fear? Is there a restlessness in me? Am I from a fear place? It might be, I don't think I'm good enough yet, and I need to have a better house or better place so that people think people think that I've made it. Like that would clearly be what would love or what would fear have me do? That would clearly be a fear path, right? That would be a fear, a way of making a decision out of fear. Then you ask yourself, what would love have me do? Love would say, love wants you to be happy. Love wants you to be free. Love wants you to play and enjoy and celebrate and make peace with and have an incredible human experience. And as you ask yourself, what would love have me do? A whole different train of thought comes in on your decision-making process. So let's say you're talking about that move you're about to make, and that move has a lot of fear of, well, I don't know if I can afford the place. I don't really know. I'm afraid that it's not the right time to move. I'm afraid that this place is not going to be a good place to live. I'm afraid that I won't like my neighbors. I'm afraid that maybe even though it feels like a nice neighborhood, it's really not. Like, all of these are fear. This is fear talking, right? What about love? What would love have you do? Love has a different voice in your head. Love would say things like, well, you felt like you've been stuck in a rut here for a while. The universe is a constant changing thing. It's about, and you have to walk through fear to find freedom. And it might say, open up to the possibilities. Love has an expansive energy in the decision making, an opening feeling. Love has an opening, and fear has a contracting feeling. Fear has I'm afraid, I'm pulling back, I'm separating, I'm doing this. Love has an opening feeling, and that's my encouragement as you're making decisions, is you have to get out of the compulsive stream of thinking that the voice in the head will do. And it's very easy to make decisions from there because we live in a society and a culture that is so mind identified. Everything we're doing on our phones, the Instagram, YouTube, it's like advertising, mind, words, they're constantly coming to us. You know, that what they do is they activate the voice in our head, which is, and as we listen constantly to the voice in our head, we have compulsive thinking. There's compulsive voice in the head happening. And from that place of compulsive identification with the thoughts in your head, the voice in your head, that's constantly going, from a compulsive identification with the voice in your head, it's hard to make a decision from a place of love. So a lot of times you hear people who are, making decisions from a place of compulsion or mind identification. They'll do all of these pros and con lists. Like, they'll write out pros and cons and pros and cons, and that's the mind's way from fear of trying to make decisions. It's a mental decision-making process. And that's not how love works. Like, that's not how let me say it this way. That's not the experiment, that's not the spiritual experiment, the spiritual scientific experiment I'm doing. I'm doing this experiment of what would it look like if I take every decision that I'm gifted with being present to, being able to wake up inside of. I take every one of those decisions and I give it back to the universe. I'm like, universe, you're smarter than Tim, you're smarter than me. Tim hasn't ever had any great ideas. It's all come through you. And I take this question I have, this curiosity of what the right thing to do is, or what the best thing in the situation to do is, and I throw it back to the universe. And in doing that, I ask, what would love have me do here? Because the universe, that's what the universe seems to always want, is for whatever the loving next thing to do is. It's like when you get in that really still, blissful place, and you sit there and you identify with non-physical, all there is love. Every decision is born in love. Every decision is dripping with love from there. And you learn to just stay and make decisions and ride that blissful detachment from identification with the world of form, and decisions flow effortlessly. All right, so I'm going to look over here. I see some comments coming up on the Instagram. I just want to say hello everybody. Hello Pragar, Kehat, nice to see you guys. I just want to read. The power of thought process becomes a manifestation of your creation. Beautiful. Yes, that's true. Yep. Fear doesn't exist, but danger is real. The act of fear becomes the manifestation of danger. Yeah, that's a very well worded. That's beautiful. Great. Meaning you are responsible for everything you created. Oh, amen. Preach. That's good. Yes. Fear doesn't exist. Now that's the thing. We get into the talk of what it does and doesn't exist. and that's a beautiful talk. I'm not going to go down that road, but I absolutely agree that as you stay in a fearful focus in your life, you do manifest danger. You manifest things to be afraid of. Think about that. That's interesting. When you focus on fear, you manifest fearful things. When you focus on love, you manifest loving things. Okay? Absolutely. Really great. Rabbi Uhuru official. Love it. Great stuff. Let's see if there's anything else. Couple hellos out there. All right, good. So just back to this topic of making decisions from love or fear. Just start playing with it. My encouragement is, if you catch yourself, think of anything you're pondering making a decision about in your life right now. Think about maybe relationship stuff. Think about work stuff. Think about family things, maybe some family dramas. Anything you can think of. Ask yourself, what would love have me do? And sit. And the trick is don't ask what love would have me do, and then just start rambling with your ego. What would love have me do? Well, let me make a pie chart of what love would have me do. Love would probably have me do this, and then it would have me do that, and then love would have me do this, and love would have me do that. Fear would have me do this, and love would have me do that. Like, it doesn't work like that for me when I get what feels like the clear, intuitive love guidance. Whenever I get that intuitive love guidance thing, whenever I know that I know what the next loving thing to do is, the idea that pops in my head, when it's born in love, it feels beautiful, it feels light, it feels peaceful. And usually when I have clarity on what that loving thing to do is, it kind of quiets the fear voice a bit. It's kind of like, that sounds pretty clean and clear and loving. And it's usually pretty simple. And it usually comes in when I'm in a very, well, I don't know, maybe usually or always, it comes in when I'm in a state of peaceful, blissful detachment from the identification with Tim's story, the voice in the head. When I'm sitting in that blissful place and I ask, what would love have me do? It doesn't feel like I come up with the answer to what would love have me do. It feels like the answer goes shoop, and just pops right in. It's like, what would love have me do? And I sit and I hold space. Sometimes it may take a while for it to come in. Sometimes I'll ask and I'll be in a meditation and I won't have clarity on what the loving thing to do is. And then I ask the universe, what would love have me do? And I'll sit and nothing comes in that meditation session. But then I walk inside, I make an espresso, or I do something else, exercise, whatever. And then that's the loving thing to do here. And I have to say, in following this love voice, it's a wild ride. It's amazing. Like, in doing this, the business that I work on has been growing and growing. My deep connections with people, my social life is growing. My connection with my daughter, everything around me is becoming more beautiful and flowing and abundant and grateful. But it's all based on this focus. We get what we focus on. If you want to feel afraid, focus on your fears all the time. If you want to feel the bliss of love and clarity in being connected to what I'm going to call source energy, or some other smarts that you have inside of you, other than what you think of, like thinking hard about something. There is an intelligence far greater than you think you have inside of you that has to do with tapping into the deepest, highest inner self that's in there. And from that place, everything is love. Everything is love. Okay? So, that's what I have to say here today. If you're just chiming in on the video, we're talking about making decisions from love as opposed to fear. What would love have me do? And I explored that for almost 20 minutes here, so I'm going to go about my day. We've got an exciting day today here with the Voice Studio. We have with the adult community. I'm a voice teacher, and I have a vocal program, a singing school, and we're having a party for all the adults in the singing school today. So I got to go get ready, see some clients. It's going to be a great day. Let me just read a couple more of these comments before I go. All right. Yeah. First, you must have to know actually what is love. Yes, that's so beautiful. That's true. The planetary energies that synchronized with love. Yeah, amen. That's it. And that's one point. That's one thing to say. Like, if this is a beginning thing for you, great point. If this is a beginning quest for you, this idea of trying to understand how to tap into the deeper intuitive guidance by asking yourself, what would love have you do? A big part of that is learning. Learning what love is and what love feels like. Love is an experiential state. It's not an idea. And that's an important distinction to make. Love is an idea until you experience it. And I don't mean love like you just went on Tinder and you saw somebody that's really attractive and you have that butterfly in your stomach, that early relationship thing. When I'm talking about making decisions from love, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this deep, blissful experience of identification with the deepest part of yourself. It's like imagine that you can think you're a body, and then you can check out a little further and you can think you're a mind. And then you can think you are this energy field. And then you can go even deeper and think you are the empty space, the constant awareness that's able to watch all of that stuff. Like, that's the you. That's the real you behind it all. It's that constant non-physical awareness. And when you sit in that space long enough and you experience that, that's love. Because love really in this context is about loving everything that is. And I don't mean most things, I mean everything. And including that is fear. You can be in that blissful, deep, constant, non-physical place that's watching everything and have fear come up and love that. You can feel love in the presence of fear. They're not opposites. Fear is something that comes up and goes away inside of the constant field of awareness that you are. That's love. And as you go further and further on this adventure, that love speaks. That bliss place has something to say, and what it has to say is things for you to do from a place of love. And usually those things have to do with helping others. They have to do with creating something beautiful, loving yourself deeply, like looking at things, letting go of things, usually, stuff like that. But you'll find it, you'll feel it. If you just open up and you ask and you surrender yourself to what would love have me do, you're going to start feeling different guidance come in, and it'll feel lighter. The ideas will feel lighter. They'll feel more beautiful. They'll feel more loving. It'll feel smarter. They'll feel smarter too. Fear thoughts make you feel heavy. They make your body feel tight. They make your heart rate increase. They make your brow furrow. They make you constrict. Okay? So that's some clues. Okay? And be okay. Don't beat yourself up if you're having a hard time discerning sometimes what would love have me do or what would fear have me do in a situation. You're going to learn. You're going to get better and better at tapping into the love voice and the fear voice in your head. But everything can be boiled down to those two deep, fundamental identification points for humans. Okay? So, there we go. That's my talk for today. If you just joined in, I just finished up the talk on the difference between love and fear. How do we make decisions from love? Asking yourself, what would love have me do? Okay? So if you want to watch it, feel free to go back. I'll be posting this live Instagram video for a little bit. I'm also putting this video up on the YouTube account, which is Selfless Awakening. So this is day 17 of 30 Days of Awakening, where I'm waking up every morning and I'm talking about what feels like the next intuitive thing to talk about for me. So if you want to catch up on any of the other videos I've done in the last 16 days, all of those videos are up on the YouTube account. The link is in the description of my bio. And, thanks for stopping in, everybody. I'll be on tomorrow for day 18 of 30 Days of Awakening. If there's anything you'd like me to talk about or focus on, I'm open. This is all about being open and just sharing from a place of love. insights and tools that work for me to help me be of service to others. And this is really filling my heart with good feelings to do this, and hoping you all have a beautiful morning and a beautiful day. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, cheers.